welcome back to All-Star Fandom, the Fellowship of Fandom. We are jumping into this one hot. I had a whole intro ready, but Doc came in hot, Jen came in high, so we're just going to jump right in to it once I give a synopsis and give everything. But today we're diving into the heart of Middle-earth with our review of Ring of Power Season 2, Episode 5. So from Númenor's political intrigue to the dwarven halls of Khazad-dûm, there's a storm brewing across Middle-earth, and we're here to break it down. So I'm here to break it down also with my partner in crime, Doc. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm great, man. I had a rough week, but hey, other than that, we in there.
Hey, it's Friday though, right? It's Friday.
Yeah, it is. It is Friday.
Friday.
And
yeah.
And this show has been made extremely that much better because of this person here. Our resident Lord of the Rings expert.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, I still capital the lowercase s. But Jen, say hello. How things are going? We got a lot to dive into tonight.
I am doing really well. I also had a interesting week at work, including a conversation I had with my manager before I left at the end of the day. But I am doing well. I am happy.
Did you give him one of these? Like, hey, keep talking.
Oh no. My whole office knows. Listen, I'm about to get a basket of chanclas, a basket, and throw it at every single person in this office. Don't make me do it.
Oh well. I think we're y'all had rough weeks. Mine wasn't the greatest either. So I feel like what we watched last night just made us even more angry.
I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be here, though. I get to nerd out.
We all happy to be here tonight. We was all looking forward to this one.
Oh
tonight.
yeah.
So I'll tee up an intro here, and I'll give up a bit of a synopsis from it. I'll give a little bit of a synopsis, and we'll jump into it. Let's do it from there. There we go. So a lot to process from last night.
You gonna pull these motherfuckers up right at the beginning? These two clowns. All right, come on.
Okay. I'm gonna let you go first, okay? I'm gonna reclaim my time right now, but I'll let you go first.
Timer starts now.
So in the Ring of Power Season 2, Episode 5, titled Halls of Stone, tensions escalate across Middle-earth as political schemes and personal ambitions drive the characters closer to darkness. In Númenor, the political unrest deepens under Farazan, right? His rule. Kemen, who is like villain number one right now, or public enemy number one, confronts Valandil and Elendil during a faithful ritual, leading to a violent confrontation where Kemen kills Valandil and blames Elendil, increasing the division in Númenor. Farazan, his iron-fisted rule, and the undercurrent of treachery highlight the kingdom's decline into chaos. Then we go to check out our guys over in Jen, help me pronounce this. Origin.
Allegian.
I'm gonna send this to you and let you read it next time. So Celebrimbor continues his troubling collaboration with Sauron Anatar, still unaware of the true extent of Sauron's manipulation. His guilt over the creation of the rings is palpable, yet he remains vulnerable to Sauron's influence, setting up personal catastrophic consequences for Middle-earth. Meanwhile, we go over the dwarves, and King Durin, under the corrupting influence of the ring, ignores his son's warning about the dangers beneath the mines of Khazad-dûm. Disa senses the awakening of a dark presence. I think we kind of know what that dark presence is, suggesting that Durin's obsession may unleash a disaster upon the dwarves. And then we finish up the episode with Galadriel facing Adar, who has captured her, but instead of harming her, proposes an alliance against a common foe. And that's how we wrap up Episode 5 of Season 2. So, Doc, I'm going to hand this over to you because it seems like you got a lot on your chest right now. Say it with your chest, man. What were your overall highlights and takeaways from Episode 5?
He's ready. I love it.
First of all, I was checking out the topography of Middle-earth. You feel me? So I'm going with my little baby fingers across this thing from Númenor to Khazad-dûm back to Legia. And I'm like, all right, I got the map out, right? We cool, right? And then I look up and I see them two clowns conspiring. once again, they conspired. He already done
Two
eagle
clowns
block.
are.
What's his name?
Kemen?
Farazan and his raggedy ass son. Get the duck sounds ready. Let me tell you something. That boy had me hot. Because you know the tension between him and the young soldier, is it Valandil?
Yeah.
The tension between him and that boy was thicker than Megan Thee Stallion. And I was ready for something to pop off. Did you hear me? And when it popped off, I was holding everything next. I was holding pillars and donkeys and dogs and everything. I was like, "Ooh, give it to him." And then when he was giving it to him, and then he broke his arm and it flipped him over and said, "Look at here, you piece of you know what?" The captain, being the good man that he is,
Yeah.
Yes.
paused the whole transaction. And for the people, hey y'all, how y'all doing? I apologize. This is your favorite chef. I'm just a little upset right now. And if y'all just now tuning in, we talking about Rings of Power, episode 5. Yeah, it got a little intense. Back to y'all.
Way to throw in a promo there. I appreciate it.
Look, back to y'all. So
For the record, I'm mad too. I am so mad.
When the captain said stop and Valandil stopped, only thing I can think about in my mind was do what your boy did in Gladiator, what he did to Joaquin Phoenix. Just slice it a little bit. Just slice this a little bit. And I guarantee you he'll leave you alone. As soon as he dropped that sword, I knew he was gonna die. Because he turned around and he looked at the captain because he got so much respect for the captain.
Hands up, too.
And the way that sword, and people don't know this if you never did sword play before, the action of that sword going through him and how quiet it was, and the way he pulled it out,
right in the heart. It was like
I'm sitting there looking.
It was the intention in that stab.
I had to do one of them, dog. I was like, why would y'all build up this character? Because we thought he was going to be fighting with the captain. I just knew he was going to be the right hand of the captain. And protecting the Queen Regent's name. You know what I'm saying?
Look what it's created, though. It's created another villain, right? We knew Kemen was like not the greatest of people in it to begin with.
No,
but exactly. This sort of solidified his origin story
and
as
then
a villain.
Let Farazan tell him some stuff like, your mama said you're going to die bad, but I'll tell you after you do what I want you to do. Well, what? What kind of setup is we doing right now? With his raggedy behind. Look, and like he said, the boy asked him a good question when he was looking at what the elves had left, and I was like, well, do you really think it's meant for us to reach that high? Because the elves are immortal. They are up here. Men are down here. We know how corruptible men are. The elves know how corruptible. Everything on earth know how corruptible men are.
So I have that quote actually. This Kemen says to his father, "The scepter is in your hands now, father.
Yes.
Isn't that high enough?" And I think that's a really good question. He was in pursuit of the kingdom of Númenor for a very long time, and he achieved what his goal. And even though I don't quite agree with the eagle choosing him, I think there's
I don't the eagle. I 100% guarantee you that eagle did not choose that raggedy donkey. Do you hear me? had my girlfriend been able to see and had been standing over there in the doorway, the eagle would have chose her.
No, if the room wasn't so small, the eagle could have walked over to her and been like, her.
Yeah, but that's a good point. There was like a lot of people blocking the walkway, so it's not like you walk in.
Look, I know I went on these people to get to her. Listen, I know I went on a little tangent right there, but that part of the TV show upset me so. But let's go back. We're gonna rewind.
Okay. I'm okay. Hold on one second. I'm gonna you take a breather. Okay, take a breather, Jen.
Yes.
I guess we're on Kemen being a raggedy donkey, is what you call him?
Yes, that's what he is. You're gonna let me say the other word. Say the other word.
I purposely, when writing out my notes, had to say to myself, I cannot curse on this show.
We can do a few of them, but yeah.
What I wrote down was that pretentious prune, puffed up, spoiled peacock.
Yes, all of that. And I love peacocks. But he was all of that.
Child who doesn't even know what a real man is.
No.
Just like I was like, oh, you think you grown? You
has
think
no
you
clue.
grown? Really?
Yeah. And now he probably think he a soldier because he killed one and stabbed him in the back.
He has no idea what a soldier even is.
I was so happy. I was so happy when the captain punched him in the face. Oh my God.
I was waiting for that the entire time.
I'm sorry, G. I just jumped all over. I apologize.
No, I really feel like Elendil had really hold his patience from season one all the way up to this point. And honestly, because they came in and just basically said, this is a condemned chapel. And instead of respecting the culture by a little bit, instead of just giving them their prized relic, he drops it.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
that was too far. That was too far. But at the same time, though, I'm like, did you have to call him boy? Did you?
Yeah, we did, because that's what he is. That's what he is.
No, I don't disagree, but it triggered him because I'm wondering if
he could have de-escalated.
But Dion,
he could have de-escalated a little long. If he just said, "Give it to him," that boy had some.
But hold on,
you know, that was like some Kratos boy.
Like
give it to him, boy.
But listen, and I know y'all see this too. His love for the queen is so embedded in him. He will listen to her at the detriment of all of them because he need to release the beast. And that boy was like, "Keep pushing me, boy. I'm going to release the beast on you." You know what I'm saying? So they had to put that in there. He had to say that.
Well, no, like it's definitely from a writing standpoint, it's one of those things where we had to have this moment because we do have to move the plot forward. I mean, especially now that we're in episode 5 of the season, we're basically more than halfway through. We do have to move the needle. So this is, I think this is one of the reasons why this is a great episode, because there was a lot to take in, but now definitely the plot is moving forward full steam ahead, because now we're seeing the deconstruction of Númenor. We know where it's going. Now we're starting to see the unraveling of Celebrimbor. And according to an article from the website Collide, they actually titled this episode Gaslight, Gatekeeping, and Galadriel.
The 3 G's there. It was gaslighting too. Boy.
And that was perfect.
Everywhere.
But, oh my goodness. And go ahead, Dion.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm gonna jump back in there.
Let me steer us back on whatever track we got off of a little bit, because we jumped a bit, but it's okay. I like the passion for this show, because I think we all had that same feeling when Kemen did what he did, and we're like, okay, if we could all just stomp him out right now, we would.
Yeah.
So, if we all could jump through the TV, it would be it would be like episode 1 with Sauron and orcs. It would be a repeat.
Oh yeah, it'd be that Caesar action on him.
Oh yeah.
So we could. So let's jump back to that in a bit. But I wanted to go to Celebrimbor and Sauron. Ooh. That relationship right now is getting tense, and I think from my standpoint, seeing Celebrimbor, I thought he was going to be just sort of a passive sort of creator, sort of like, looking the other way the whole time, or not knowing what he's doing. Or not knowing what's happening. But the fact that he sort of comes to a realization that, hey, we need to stop here. But then it was even Sauron's ability to manipulate him even more by saying, we were doomed when you wrote that letter because you lied there. And then Celebrimbor said, we have to fix this now. We have to make 9 more rings to fix the 7, I think, or so.
7 for dwarves, 9 for men.
Exactly. So with that storyline, any highlights or takeaways from that? Jen, Doc, take a breather. I'll get you.
I got you.
I love it.
Fire up again, okay? Fire up again.
Oh man, I mean, just from that section alone, I mean, we like another thing I loved about this episode was all of the Easter eggs we got. We saw the doors for the Mines of Moria that come in the Fellowship of the Ring, for the West Gate. that's how that comes into play here. And for people who don't know the context, that's where they came up with the special password, speak friend and enter. We had that Easter egg. I thought that was a beautiful moment. But yeah, like right away, because you can definitely see like Sauron has movements in his head of how things are supposed to go. And so the fact that Celebrimbor has been operating still independently up until this point, doing things, because like you could tell he's not happy that they had a moment with the doors. He was just like, make the rings move on. He was like being so meh. So you have all of that, and then you start seeing how he's playing chess, how he's manipulating, how he's like, well, what about this and what about this? And then when Durin the Younger, which is Disa's husband, because technically King Durin is Durin the Third.
Okay, this was a question I had. Go ahead.
Yeah,
you're on it.
The current king is Durin the Third, and then this would be Durin the Fourth. So for right now, they call him Durin the Younger, just to signify who is who. Which Durin are we talking about? But yeah, like we're starting to see too that Sauron's mask is starting to fall a little bit easier because he's getting impatient, because he's really manipulating, wanting to get these 9 rings of men. And the fact that he even says at one point, we will choose the ones who are the most honorable. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Who do we have in mind?
I know, right?
Can you give us some names, please?
Right.
There was just so much. And then, yeah, I was like, you dirty little bleep, 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 bleep with that young.
Get your dolphin sounds ready. You hear Jen?
Yeah. And then like how he got her by saying, wow, for a moment you
look just like her. You look just like my lady.
I was like, that's like high praise.
Yeah.
It's like, really? I look like her? Oh wow.
Oh, when he was spitting that game to her.
That's exactly how she looked. Do it again, Jen. How she do it? What's she say? Oh wow.
But no, like even from the first moment where she's standing next to him, she taps him on the arm. I was like, why are you touching him? Don't touch him.
Like, oh my goodness.
But then like the other thing too, the other Easter egg a little bit in the episode during this time is when they were playing with the resizing of the ring. That's an Easter egg to the One Ring, because she goes invisible and she actually sees Sauron in his true form.
Yeah.
And then the way he just gaslit her, it was just like, oh, I didn't want to tell anyone about this for the things that I see. And I'm like, you know what?
Man, that scene right there, it said so much about the first Lord of the Rings movie. I mean, there were so many scenes in here that said so much about the Fellowship of the Rings. But that scene right there when she disappeared and she was knocking shit over and she didn't know where she was. And Celebrimbor came downstairs and was looking like, what the fuck is I'm sorry. What's going on? Why is stuff moving and why y'all just standing there looking stupid? What's going on in my area right now?
Well, even her description was just like
it was
exactly how we saw it.
And
you know,
so
they
bad,
didn't have to show it, and we knew.
And what makes it so bad, y'all, is when she put that ring on, was trying to resize it or whatever, she was looking right at Sauron. That's who she saw. But then Sauron flipped it and told her, well, you know, Celebrimbor, his mind is slipping, me doing this stuff. He lied to the king. You know, he gonna get in trouble. You know, it's probably him that's going bad or going dark. You know, in so many words, I'm gonna say, you know, in the beautiful Elvish language that they talking, the tongue with his forked tongue ass, the way he uses it, you know, the language. He make everything sound good.
I love it.
You know what I'm saying? When it's all bad for everybody. So he making her think that Celebrimbor is the one that's the evil guy. So
something that was really impactful for me in that scene was when she comes out of it and describing everything. Yeah. Like I literally gasped when this moment happened. He says to her, you have nothing to fear. And the thing she's fearing is walking toward her as he says that. I'm like,
And the crazy thing is, like I asked y'all in the first episode when we did this, don't elves have like some type of intuition that tell them when people are evil? Like everybody is ignoring their intuition.
Because he's a master manipulator. But you know, some elves do have foresight, but then at the same time, which anyone can correct me in the comments because I know my knowledge is lacking in places. There are elves with the gifts of foresight. I don't know if all of them have that, at least from what I understand. So, and then the fact that we have these rings at play, and they're basically, everyone's like freaking out because Sauron made them. So it's like, what do we trust? Do we trust what we're seeing? Now, for those that are
the problem is they don't know Sauron. They don't know Sauron right now. They think Celebrimbor made these rings. That's the issue.
Yeah.
And that's the problem because everybody trusts him as the master forger of all the elves, of all the immortals. Celebrimbor made this. If Celebrimbor made this, bro, we good. Just throw the ring on and trust whatever he's doing.
But then, like, it's very poetic just to show that even the person who you think cannot be corrupted is corrupted.
Can be, yeah.
His vanity is his downfall.
Just like that, when he wrote that letter, like Sauron told him, when you wrote that letter, you damaged the rings. You infected the rings right then.
Look how he freaked out when Porter was like, "Is there any possibility?" No.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So quick with it. When Durin the Younger was like, wait a minute, is something wrong with the ring maker?
Okay. Since you bring up Durin, right? Let's jump to our friends at Khazad-dûm, right? So
hold on, you gotta say it right. Khazad-dûm. Thank you. Somebody follow me.
I love that moment. I was like, thank you. I needed that.
but he threw me off, man.
No, okay. Hey, what's up, baby?
So King Durin, he
open the door, sugar. I can't hear you, baby.
Hey, tell her we're filming. Tell her go play.
Filming live.
Hi, family.
Huh? You finna go where?
It sounds like
oh my goodness.
No, baby, you just going live, baby. We just live, sugar.
We're upset. We're angry.
All right.
Hello, Elise. Anywho. Jump to King Durin and Khazad-dûm, and he has his ring. He's able to now sort of not, notice or feel the spots or have that intuition, but the ring is sort of guiding him. DC even said that it feels like cheating a little bit, right?
Yeah.
But over time, even in this episode, you could see the ring start to
manipulate him,
right?
You can really see the difference from the elven rings that was not touched by Sauron, even though there is influence, versus when he actually touched the mithril that went into the dwarves. Which, if it's this bad with a dwarf, imagine what's going to happen to the men who actually become the nine wraiths. It's pretty bad.
So, with Khazad-dûm, we know we sort of know what's going to happen to them, their demise, essentially, but being able to see this in real time and sort of getting that sort of hint of what Disa experienced under that might be rumbling under Khazad-dûm, which I thought was pretty dope.
Easter egg.
I know what it is.
Fantastic Easter egg.
You know we all know what that is.
We know what it is. I'm gonna throw it to our resident Lord of the Rings expert, Jen.
That's Belrock.
Oh yeah.
That's Belrock because again, there are context clues, people. Look at the context clues. We were taught this in school for a reason. Anyway.
It's so good how they tease it, though.
Oh, it's such a good tease.
Old ancient evil.
The fact that she went into a cavern that she didn't even realize was there, I found that interesting because the fact that they were talking about how King Durin was making these changes in law, how the ring is really manipulating him and pulling him out of his true character to be really manipulated by power. Because I looked at it in so many different ways. It's like how they're leaving the path of their true culture and how the dwarves, see mountains, respect the mountains. The fact that they sing and communicate that way, that it's ancient and that it's a gift from their personal deity. that they referenced in the show. That there's falling away from that, and now it's like and the fact that the king says we did this, we brought the sun. It's like,
oh yeah,
it's just such a quick decline of falling away from what true dwarfism, at least in Lord of the Rings, really is in terms of in the way they live. And then with Disa, I found that interesting because it's almost like the way I viewed it, it's like almost like the mountain was trying to show her, hey, there's something down here. I know I'm not communicating to you, and that's because of all these other things, but I'm just trying to way to show
can't hear the mountain anymore.
But I found it very interesting though that the ball kept rolling, even though it was getting kicked. But the fact that it led her to that, I really felt that was very interesting turn of events, like something trying to help her and communicate to her to show her something to try to bring light to the situation, so they pivot back, which we know that doesn't happen. But I just found that scene very intriguing in that way to me.
But let me tell you something about rich people. only rich people can pay $200 for a ball and then just drop and be like, "Oops, I see you kicked it there. Excuse me." No, man, we would have held on to that tuning stone so hard and wrapped it up and put it in a shirt, put it in a backpack.
There was a lot of like, oh, excuse me, but I like to get to where to show, like, hey, there's something brewing in this mountain,
right?
Y'all are screwing up.
Something.
Yep.
Yeah, you are all screwing up, and we're doomed at the end of the day.
Since we're talking about the doors, since we're talking about it, the moment that gave me chills is when King Durin looked at his boy and said, "Hey, give me the axe." And Durin was like, "No,
it was a foundation wall, though."
Hey, let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you like the king said. Hey, boy, when I tell you to dig, you do what I say.
But look at what's happening. Like, even Durin is looking at his father differently, so much that he goes back to Celebrimbor.
I was about to say
about it.
I was about to say, when his father told him, give him the axe, it was the look on his face that said, how can nobody else not see my father is changing? And y'all have known him longer than I have. Y'all all older than I am.
The other dwarf, I believe his name is
Narvi,
the Delve Master.
Yeah, the Delve Master.
Who was part of the, at Eregion, where he was giving the West Gate, being revealed by moonlight. That was him. There are moments where he's even looking at the king like, what is happening to you? Yeah. And the fact that he made up a new basically a new tax, the ring tribute.
Yeah,
ring tribute. Yeah.
And instead of giving the rings to the other dwarven leaders, they have to give a percentage of their mines, which is something that's not done before.
He wants half of their mines for the ring. For a
ring. Right.
But look how it's manipulating him too. Like even when he took it off, he was about to shake dude down. He was about to break the palace. Like, hey,
let me tell you, the way he grabbed the little fat dwarf that was sitting to the left, the way he was about to grab that ring, and the king grabbed his hand. When he was about to grab that ring, and he told him, "Those rings are not for you; they're for your master." Yeah, that's when I knew. I was like, "Oh, he lost it. It's over with."
But then that moment where he freaks out, like, what did I do with the ring? What did I do with the ring? That's an Easter egg to Gollum.
Yeah.
That's an Easter egg to Gollum.
It was full of Easter eggs for this one, and I enjoyed it. I think this might have been I said this last week. Last week was a good episode, but this one, just because we see the Easter eggs that lead us to Fellowship, or that leads us into a story that we're more familiar with. But I'm kind of down because, like, I knew going in this Khazad-dûm, we know their outcome. But it's like okay, Rufus, and I'm sure Jen, you get this too. It's like me watching Rocky IV all the time. Yeah, it's like maybe Apollo won't die this time.
Right.
Like that's what
I watched it 1,000 times.
So maybe something.
You can look for all the plot holes. It's like, no, if you just did this, then you won't die.
Yeah, I was like, maybe. I when I was younger, I watched it all the time. I was like, man, I just hope maybe it's different this time. But that's how I felt watching this one, where it was like, okay, we know what their downfall happens, and the biggest thing is when Disa asked Durin, promised to her to never
that she won't put that ring on.
Any of them. You said any of them.
any of them. Yeah, and he did, and I'm like, damn. Like that's all I said. I was like, damn. Then that's it. But yeah, any more takeaways from that section of the Ring of
why
Power?
we hadn't seen their daughter yet?
Who
She was buying the tuning stone for was for their daughter. Who is their daughter?
We saw the kids in season 1, right? Didn't we see the kids in season 1?
I thought we did.
Just running around playing. We don't see them. They were just playing around in the background, but I don't know if we're going to be introduced to them.
Because I was just thinking, we got 8 episodes last season, right?
And then 8 episodes this season. Yeah.
And 8 episodes this season. Man, they can't finish the story like we want to in 3 episodes. Well, what we're all looking for, and of course, we know where it leads to the Fellowship of the Rings. We're gonna get that, but we want more of these individual stories, like when the Captain I'm gonna mess his name up. Can you help me out, Jen? Elendil. When Captain Elendil said when he touched the planter and he saw himself running from Númenor. Did I say that right?
Yes.
In the fog, away from the city. I'm thinking, of course, that's when it falls, whatever. And he's going to try and get help, right? But
there's smoke in the background in his vision.
Yeah. So it's like it's burning, it's on fire, right? So and then eventually we all know he's gonna reach his son, they're gonna fight, blah blah blah. But I'm trying to see it's not enough time to tell the story, like how he even finds the army, how he finds his son. That's just one story.
Well, you're gonna have to have multiple seasons. It's like how Jen said how she thought it would be like each season would be a story of the ring, but we got the dwarves and elves in this season. And even Jen's, I on the regular when I watch, weekly when I watch, I think of what Jen said about the last of these episodes need to be that battle that we go into for Fellowship.
Right.
That's what I'm looking for the most. So I'm hoping they get enough seasons to do that. Because I saw somewhere where he said
how many more seasons they would have to do to get that before we see Elrond as that older elf?
I feel like this is why I think we're going to get a season 3, and season 3 is going to be that because, like I said before on the show, my first assumption watching season 1 before I got the whole context of the whole show was it could either go a couple ways. You know, each season, the whole season 1 was just about the rings for the elves. And they could have gone season 2 for the Rings of Dwarves and just do that story and follow that template. And then season 3, the Rings of Men, which would lead to season 4 to the battle and the prologue of the Fellowship. Which is a lot of really good shows. But the fact that they're hybriding them together makes me think, depending where we end, we're going to probably maybe get that in season 3 because there's still a lot left that they haven't gotten to because the people of Númenor eventually will found Gondor and Anor later in the story. So like when the son was talking to the father saying, you know, you can build a new Númenor in the way you see it, Gondor.
See, and that's the crazy thing because there's so many characters that they introduce, so many characters that they want you to follow that they introduce. They don't have enough time to tell all these stories in like one, in like 8 episodes. And then we're all like glued to our TV like this.
Well, I think
the power of great writing.
Yeah, I mean it's great storytelling. Even though we've read the books and seen all the movies, it's still great storytelling.
It is.
So we can even jump to this too. And I'll make sure we circle back because if we want to get some more shots in at Kemen. But we end the episode with with Galadriel sort of getting the upper hand, but then almost to a certain degree, like, hey, let's join the Deadly Alliance sort of thing. I have a plan sort of thing. And know it was a quick scene just to get us out to the next episode. More than likely, we'll go into that. But Jen, just takeaways from that. Is that something that we sort of saw coming, or should have known was coming, or I didn't think a team up like that was going to come along.
It's not surprising because of Sauron's goal with getting the One Ring. He's manipulating even more pieces than a lot of people realize. I mean, we got a hint of that last episode with that graveyard scene, with Galadriel, Elrond, and their comrades, and how he basically woke the dead, which took out the messengers to prevent them to go to Eregion to notify Celebrimbor of, hey, you know that dude that helped you make the rings? That's Sauron.
That's right. Right.
So, like the coincidence of having those messengers just happening to ride through the quickest path to get to Eregion, all of a sudden the dead are awoken and basically took them out. He's really manipulating a lot of different pieces at the same time. And we also got a taste of that too when he was still parading himself as Helbron, when he chose to get himself captured to talk to Anatar. So he's doing a lot more in the background than everyone realizes in this moment. So for me, it's not surprising.
Doc, what you got?
Man, I'm just okay. So just this whole story. Can I say this? It's a lot. I know we've said this, and I'm trying to follow every single story, right? But the ones that I really want to see, they don't give me enough. Like with that ending. So we all know, because they were.
You got to come back next week, man. You got to come back next week.
You understand? And Andir, am I saying his name right? The evil elf half Anatar, right?
Anatar.
So we all know him and his homeboys the one stabbed your boy up at the beginning, right? So we already know he hates him, because in the Fellowship of the Rings, if I'm not mistaken, elves, dwarves, and the orcs were fighting against Sauron, right? So that had to be his homeboys, right?
Elves and men were fighting against Sauron. I believe, the orcs were with Sauron, so the orcs were serving him.
So all the orcs were serving Sauron. So eventually he gets the whole batch of them.
Yes.
Okay. Because I was like, because if she joins him, because I'm trying to, I forget what she said in the Fellowship of the Rings, why she fell from glory. But could that have been it when she joined Alliance?
Was she aligned herself?
Yeah, and that was her fall from grace or whatever, because that allowed them maybe to get one of the rings or something like that. That's why I was trying to follow that. That's so sad. I need more of that story, because I really don't know Galadriel's story except for what she was telling Frodo when he was like, when she was like, she could smell the ring, like she could sense the ring on Frodo, you know. And she knew he had it, and then she was telling the story, and he was like, "Here, take it." She was like, "No, I don't want to take that, because if I take that, it's gonna be bad for everybody." So my question is to you, Jen: was Galadriel like, was she evil in the books? Like her soul, did she have a bad heart or something? Why would she feel like she's gonna be a bad person if she got that ring again? Which, by the way, the first set of rings were the purest of all the rings given to the elves.
So, I think there are layers to this question. I mean, it goes back to what we were saying about Celebrimbor. You know, his vanity is his downfall. Galadriel's grief was her way in for her to be manipulated by Sauron. And I think it's one of those things where when you look at elves, you look at elves as perfection, but then yet they were corrupted. And I think there's layers to Galadriel's fall from grace. You know, one, taking a ring, because now she can be somewhat influenced by the ring. But again, this ring was not touched by Sauron, and we see the difference from the touch and not being the touch. And then I really need to go back and read the appendices. I need to refresh my memory. I need to do that this weekend. You know, and I think with her joining with the orcs, because we also got the context of how orcs were viewed in episode 1 when we first saw Sauron and how he was addressing them and the way they were viewed by the world. So I would naturally assume, from what I know of elf lore, granted my knowledge in all elf lore is not 100%, I fully admit that. But I can see how a lot of elves would see as Galadriel doing that as a portrayal, especially for the people who don't understand that Sauron has returned, because right now they're keeping it hush, hush, hush.
Very hush, hush, yeah.
Like they're like, we're just gonna tell Celebrimbor, we're gonna stop everything, and then we'll move from there. Like they really don't want to announce that their greatest enemy has returned. They were really hoping, like, no, it's done. Let's move on. Just stop.
that you've helped give him.
That's the other thing too, because
Mm-hmm.
and that's the other layer. She actually had part in bringing him back.
Yeah.
And my thing is, God dog it, if y'all don't just start grabbing some ravens and putting some notes on the thing and sending them to everybody, hey, Sauron is somewhere. If you got somebody in your camp y'all don't know, it's him.
This is the one time I was like, there are no hawks in Tolkien's world. We can't use hawks.
No, they ain't got no pigeons. They ain't got no doves. They ain't got nothing to send messages.
There are hawks in the Fire Nation.
I was thinking to myself, I said, had the High King not just had those two emissaries going out with the notes and had some ducks or some doves or something, the notes probably would have got to Celebrimbor. I'm just saying.
There are no pigeons in the
Yeah, like they ain't got nothing.
Where are the pigeons?
I was like, look, I was right. I was like, man, the males get their slow boy in Middle Earth. Now, what's going on?
We could have took the eagles too, right?
Eagles, why not pigeons? We have eagles. We have.
Oh God, man! Grab anything and get the word out, man. You do it out here wrecking shop for your rings, bro.
Why not hawks or pigeons?
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to that, seeing, because I'm sure we'll go into that more in the next episode, and then we'll probably catch up with Gandalf or the stranger,
when I rewatched that episode, we got another context clue that's Gandalf, because the Harfoots, what they call a stick, is a Gand.
Oh, and they consider him a giant elf.
What they call a hat when he puts the hat on. An off?
No, I'm just saying, because if they call that a Gand, and then the lady already said he's a giant elf.
Yeah, that's it. It's like a grand elf is what she said.
A grand elf is what she said. I'm sorry. Yeah, grand elf. Yeah.
Well, Gandalf technically does come from Valinor. Valinor does send him in this time to help with the rising darkness. So I can agree with that, definitely. But yeah, like, again, there's a lot of context clues. Tom Bombadil, they call a gigantic stick a gaff. I wonder what they call a hat. And off, Gandalf.
Because they haven't called him anything.
Except
so far, not even like Nori.
They're really teasing. They're really teasing. I'm like, just say the freaking name. It's not like Rumpelstiltskin.
Or if you're just like, yeah, I feel like at this point in time, it's like, hey, we got to call you something, man. You know what I mean? Like, I just
they did. The Stranger. It's in the script.
Well, that ended episode 5 for this one. I'm gonna give you guys one more time to go right around the horn. I don't know if you want more Kemen to get on him, you can.
I don't need to talk about that anymore. I'm just gonna talk about. I'm gonna talk about my first girlfriend, the Queen Regent.
Hey,
I'm a little jealous of the captain, because when she touched his heart, his little chest, she touched his soul, because he was like, "I go to the ends of the earth for you right now."
I had a moment where I started getting feels, and I was like, "Wait, does this really happen? I have to go back and look."
Listen, I tried to tell y'all. It was something between them. Y'all didn't want to listen to me. I'm telling you, it's something between them. You didn't feel that?
Well, I didn't feel it until like this last episode. Like, that was the only. I wrote it down. I was like, "What's going on with them?"
I feel like with the first season, with what we got, I just feel that Elendil had great respect for the Queen Regent.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because of how she was leading the kingdom with the sick father. She was basically a queen in waiting, upholding the laws.
Of course.
Balancing, the expectations of the people and how they really don't want to be related to the elves anymore. But then, like, he still respects the elves and what they did for Númenor and that history. And then we saw that shrine in this episode. So at first, like, it really reads like he just has really great respect and he honors the proper tradition.
I get the respect.
Look, Jen,
you watched the house.
I saw her touched that part of his chest. I was like, ma'am.
Nah, come on now.
I agree. No, I agree with Jen.
Yeah.
I was the same way. I was like, he respects her. He's gonna do his best as captain. It wasn't until this last episode where I saw that I was like, wait a minute.
Understand something. See, y'all weren't paying attention. Y'all were not paying attention in the first season when he jumped on that ship so fast with that queen, and he was like, "Everybody back up." Y'all weren't paying attention, man. He was basically what he was saying, "This is my gal. Y'all got to back up off my gal." And
She's
now it don't matter. Listen, like I was going to say, y'all in the House of Dragons. You see what happened to beautiful queens. I'm just gonna say that. Come on now, that woman is gorgeous, and the captain is lonely. His wife is dead. His daughter done lost her damn mind. His boy is out there.
We never talked about
this
that.
man is lonely. Do you understand me?
Yeah,
and he trying to protect this woman.
So, Doc, come down, man. Take a breather.
I love this.
So we'll close out and probably talking about his daughter and how I feel. I felt even
That
though
little girl.
she didn't kill anyone. Her stuff from like the last 2 episodes, like 2 episodes ago. I'm like, she's like, what did we call Kim? What did you call Kim and Jennifer? I think she hits that. She hits that too. Yeah,
pompous
peacock.
Pretentious, puffed up.
Exactly
but listen,
what she was.
That you said she didn't kill anybody. You wasn't paying attention. She the one got my boy killed when she
didn't
touched
stab
him.
anyone in the back like Kemen did.
When she touched him,
he got the whole army decommissioned.
Thank you.
She decommissioned the entire Númenor army. Well, not the entire. The ones that were still loyal to the queen.
Still loyal to the Queen Regent.
And the fact that and like, oh, I'm so mad at her.
Go ahead, Jen. Go ahead. Your turn. Go ahead. Keep going.
Valendir, where she's like, "You're my friend.
Right.
I can get you off this." Like,
right.
Oh, really?
And then she's gonna put the hand on him.
I was like, "Why are you
Get your hand off me?
Get off!" Like, and she had the nerve to say, "You're my friend," and he's like, "Oh, it's clear that you really know. You have shown who your friends were." And I was like,
Thank you.
But like,
and then the way old boy looked at him, and when she touched him, the way old boy looked at him was like, "I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you."
It was jealousy.
Instant jealousy. Instant jealousy.
Man, we should have rephrased this episode something else instead of what Hall of Stones. It should have been. Good grief! What could it have been? Just badass kids.
Man,
that's
what makes it so bad, man. The captain was like, man, he's in his mind, he was like, man, I raised these 2 kids on my own to be good.
That's
people.
another thing. Like, there's like so many different arcs of family drama that are happening. I can't imagine what Valendir is feeling, knowing his own daughter betrayed him and their culture and their way of living. Like, looking at his own daughter, like, I raised you.
Right.
What
that has got to break your heart.
That would break any parent's heart.
It's going to be interesting when Isildur does make it back, because her whole thing of doing all of this was because
he let him die.
Exactly.
Because if he hadn't followed the queen, her brother would be alive.
What is he going to say to her?
Exactly.
Everything that happens, and he finds out it was her doing. Oh, it's going to be so icy.
Ooh.
I just need my queen to get back to her. I need her eyes to start back working. They got magic, bro.
We do live in a world of fantasy, right?
Sprinkle the dust on them joints. Come on, I need them things to start back working, because I'm already pissed that your boy done took over her whole kingdom, took her scepter, because he is a royal blood, so it's some challenge there. You know what I'm saying? I guess you can challenge the throne and whatnot, but oh man, it's frustrating, bro.
I'll close us out on this, but I do think the idea of like all these families sort of having these like internal battles is pretty dope. You have the dwarves with Durin and his son, King Durin and his son. You got that and his wife now with Disa, with her sort of sensing things happening or coming to an end, or what they're doing is bad at the moment. Then we go over to we didn't see Theo and where he's at now and everything, but it's so many family dynamics within this show, which keeps it moving. So in every next episode, we'll see the other 3 stories that we didn't see this week. That's how much is going on in this story or in this season, and I commend the writers for at least making sure like nothing's sort of skipping out. So Doc, you'll get your Galadriel more next episode. Just gotta wait a week, man. Just wait a week. That's it. Just wait a week.
And then I guess we'll get Aaron there next episode too, because he got to go on the journey to try to, help the imps.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's so much happening, and we only got 3 more episodes left for this season. No telling how long those are going to be. Seeing how the first ones were very long, I would imagine these last 3 will be like the meat of the season, obviously. But if that's all that we want to get off our chest this evening,
man.
You sure that's it?
There's a lot. Look, I can pull a wheel on this one, dog.
Jen, I know you took notes and everything too. We're pats. Anything else that was, because I don't want to leave anything out for you from Isildur's horse a few weeks ago. So I want to make sure we cover everything you want to cover.
No, I think that's basically it. I think we went through everything. Like this had a lot of detail, and I'm so glad I went back and I watched it again because there was just so much. We talked about King Durin, how he's changing, to even the culture is changing, how he's rolling back on his original laws from the prescriptions. He invented a new tax. Instead of giving the rings, he's demanding payment or a percentage of all the other mines. Like, you just start really seeing the narrative really changing now with these new set of rings. And that little girl and that little boy, they are so perfect for each other.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, we'll close this episode out. Man, Jen, it's been great having you again. You've made this show exceptionally better. Just so much better with just adding everything in your knowledge too. We really appreciate it. So let the world know where can they find you and everything like that.
So you can follow me at my personal handle at Nerdiqua, and then my podcast handle at rocking_your_bald for my podcast, Rocking Your Bald. I also have a Star Wars Universe Club on Clubhouse. We meet on Fridays at 8:30, where we talk about the latest news, the latest shows, and we do book club as well. So come and join us over there.
Cool. And Doc, since I teed us up on the intro, I'm gonna let you close us out, man, until next week.
All right. Hey, look, let me tell y'all something. If y'all ain't whoop on the Rings of Power, I don't know what y'all doing with your life. Look, next week, y'all join us right here, same time, same place. And please start watching the Rings of Power, because we're gonna do this every Friday until it's over with. And this is All-Star Fandom Show on YouTube Live. We're also on All-Star Fandom on TikTok and Instagram. Please go follow us over there. Drop your comments, and I promise you we'll get back to you. And until next time, this is Dion, Doc, and Jennifer. Peace.
Bye.